and that gets to Annie McCabe's point about we need everybody to put this on the record. We need to match up all the timelines, and again, there'll be discrepancies. Always happens on a big day like that to match them up. But from the Democrats' perspective, Pence was calling the Capitol because the President of the United States was AWOL.
Right, and not only
the Defense Department, excuse me.
Yeah. Correct, and not only was the president AWOL, we were told by sources that we reported at the time, and the New York Times and other outlets also reported, the president was sitting back and watching this and was enthusiastic about what was happening. He was not watching it in horror like a lot of us were that day, and so I think that's important to note as well when it comes to the questions about this. But this reminds me of when we were covering the impeachment trial. I had so many sources say they were concerned that Democrats were going to try to go after the communications of the people who had spoken with President Trump that day to get a real clear picture of what was in his mindset and what was happening. And they were surprised that didn't happen. The Mark Meadowses, the Jim Jordans, the lawmakers who were on the phone with President Trump at the time, I think that is something that would also glean, we pretend like we don't know what Trump's mindset is. It's very obvious often what his mindset is on something, and it was that day based on the people who were speaking with him. And so they were surprised. They've never even gotten asked, what was the president telling you when you were calling him from in the middle of the siege and he's sitting at the White House?
Well, one of the most important documents in the United States government libraries now for the last 25 years is the 9/11 Commission. And there's a push on to have an independent commission of some sort, whether it's members of Congress or all outside people, into this insurrection. And that's been a huge source of fighting between the Speaker and the Republican leader, Kevin McCarthy, who would be a witness, one of the people who spoke to former President Trump, then President Trump, on that day. Any progress? Is that going to go anywhere?
We just haven't seen any progress really from lawmakers. The House Speaker was trying to push Republican leadership to come to some kind of consensus with her. That was not working very well. So essentially what she did was turn to the Homeland Committee, the Homeland Chairman, to try to see if he could get some kind of agreement with Republicans. So far, it hasn't yielded any kind of deal. And I think this hearing is more evidence for why a commission is so unlikely, because you see the Republicans and Democrats see the events of that day so differently, and the revisionist history that you're starting to see form, it makes it impossible to come to some kind of consensus on a commission.
What a damning but true statement about Washington today. The hearing is proving how necessary it is, and yet, because of the divided, polarized politics, how unlikely they will reach an agreement on it. Welcome to today's Washington. Andrew McCabe, grateful for your insights. Lauren and Caitlin are going to stay with us as we move on.